name is Nadine and welcome to Hop Along Studio. So today I'm answering the question from one of my viewers, which is, can you jelly print on canvas? Jelly printing on canvas isn't something I usually do, but I have both untreated canvas as well as treated canvas in both black and white, and I thought I would show you how to jelly print on canvas if it's something you might want to add to your own creative practice. So let's first talk about our surfaces. So we have the untreated canvas. So you can see it's a beige color. It's a tiny bit translucent. It is very floppy. It is very light. There is no gesso, no sort of coating on this paper. These came from a large canvas pad and I've cut them down to shape. And you'll notice that they are not transparent. They have a very thick layer of gesso on one side and they've been pre-treated. And so I haven't done any treatment of myself on these. These come already pre-treated, and we'll be using both of these in the demonstration today. You want to start by covering your jelly plate with paint. I'm putting an extra thick layer this time just because I want to make sure it's fully covered. I think it's going to work a little bit better on the gessoed surface. And now I'm going to come in with a piece of white canvas that has been pre-treated, and I'm pressing it down on the surface. In this case, I'm going to take my brayer, make sure I get a really good press. Because there's a little bit of flexibility to that canvas, it does seem to be moving in between the spaces on the stencil. There you go. So you can see you do get a nice surface with printing on canvas. But you'll notice that you do need to add a fair amount of paint. So even though this paint was fairly dark, it came up fairly light on this surface. There's a little bit more texture in there where I had to put on the paint heavier. But if I had put the paint on a lot lighter, you wouldn't see it as well. But it comes out quite a bit lighter than it would on just a regular paper print. So let's try something similar, but we're going to use black canvas. And I'm sticking to very light colors for this. You're going to notice that on the black, you really do want to try to get as much of the lighter color going, just so that you see the pattern, because otherwise it can be a little bit much. And let's use another technique. In this case, I'm just adding lines onto my surface. And I'm just going to add a little mask on top as well. And because these pages are smaller, I'm just going to lay that down and lay another piece of mixed media paper over top. This way I don't waste any of that paint and I don't end up making a mess of the background of that canvas. Just going to give that another really good squish. Make sure it's getting in between all of those little crevices of that mask. And there you go. So now you have all that fun texture. You can see as the paint is going on a bit thicker, I think you would have to go either two ways. You can either do really thin layers, you need to put a slightly thicker layer, and just deal with the fact that it's a little bit blotchy. Because the gesso has tooth, it's meant to take the paint. It's not meant to absorb in the same way as the paper is. So you're just going to get a slightly different look by doing it this way. Now that I have taken off the mask, I'm going to use another piece of black and see what we get for a pattern. It might be great, might not be great. We'll see. And I'm just using another piece of paper. And I'll just give another good rub, and I'll pull that image. So you can see with adding a little less paint, it's a little less splotchy. You get a little less of those texture marks. It's a little bit more smooth. But again, you're going to need to add more paint or more layers on top to really define that image. And again, it's a personal preference on which way you want to use this. And then there's that third print. So even after you've done your prints with your canvas, there's going to be some extra paint on the surface because the canvas isn't picking up quite the same way as the paper does. So instead of having one or two layers where it's really absorbent into the paper, because it sits on top of the canvas, you're just going to have to treat it a little bit differently and just realize there's always a little bit extra paint to pull up. So before we move on to untreated canvas, I'm going to go and add some really dark colors to the top of this and then really light ones to the bottom of it. And we're going to use it on white and we're going to see what type of effects we can get. So the red and the blue are super dark. And because I've used too much paint, I'm just putting it off to the side here because I don't want it on too heavily because I want to show what you can do with just slightly thinner layers of paint on that white and see what type of effect we can get. Add a little bit of gold because we always need gold in our projects. It's not quite as thin as I wanted, but it's pretty close. It's pretty close to where we want the weight of this image to be on the page. In this case, I am doing this along the bottom. This is a new stencil, so I really wanted to use it today. And along the top, I'm just going to continue using a bit of my pattern. And also a bit of textured bubble wrap across the entire surface. And using the treated side of the canvas, we're just going to pull this print. You can see that even though this is fairly dark, this is again fairly light because that white is going to lighten things a lot. But it is a good look. This one was going a little bit thinner. You can see a little bit more of the canvas detail through it. So again, that's that difference between adding a lot more paint and having it more solid, and also having it a little bit more subtle on your background. And now I'm going to go in with that second piece. We'll see what we get. Again, that's very light. And so there's a lot of texture in there, but it is very, very subtle. So now that I have removed those two prints, I'm going to come up with my mixed media paper for that third print. And you're going to see it's actually darker than on the canvas. So again, things to be really aware of as you're playing with these mediums, and especially on canvas. So sometimes it might make more sense to collage paper onto your canvas over just putting jelly prints on the canvas itself. So if you've enjoyed what you've seen so far, if you could like this video and subscribe, I really appreciate your support, and I hope that you've been enjoying this video so far. So now we're going to move on to untreated canvas. If you've never used untreated canvas before, make sure that you put a silicone sheet or some sort of protectant in behind. Sometimes I use parchment paper for the step. The reason being is because this has not been gessoed, it will seep through. And I have done canvas pages after I've done the page in the back, and I've actually spent a bunch of time trying to fix the damage I've done to the pages in behind. So be really aware of that when you're printing on unfinished canvas. And my favorite way of printing in these journals are with these mini jelly plates. They fit on a stamping block. You still have a lot of the texture and everything, but it's much easier to stamp than trying to get an entire jelly plate on top of this. And since I'm just creating textures, I'm doing this page upside down just so it fits my space a little bit better. So with these jelly plates, you just want to start with only a tiny bit of paint on the surface. A little bit goes a really long way. For this one, I'm going to use a very open image. I try it with a stencil on it. And you want to press down nice and hard and lift. And so you can see that it does absorb the paint, but it is quite light. So just pulling off that stencil, it's going to do another press in, that second print. And that's even lighter and even with less pattern. So I'm going to try this again with a darker color. And I'm just going to stick with the circle jelly plate today. I really like this little circle that I've gotten. This is the first time I've played with it. I've had it for ages and haven't jelly printed in a while. So I've been just dying to play with it lately. So add a little bit of gold, shine up that surface a little bit, and let's maybe not have as much pattern in there. Let's just go straight with some wavy lines onto the surface. Press down nice and hard, and it does give you a fairly good impression. So you'll notice because it's an unfinished surface, it's acting a little bit more like paper than the surface that has the canvas and the gesso on it. You'll notice that it isn't seeping too badly in the back. There's a little bit of seepage, but it isn't too bad. In this case, I'm just going to put a design in, and then I'm going to add another stamp. And that one was very subtle. So when you're using it on the untreated canvas, I would suggest going for much more bold images. It's going to go a long way to make sure that you kind of get the look and coverage that you want on your canvas. Adding it on a journal page like this, it's hard to get as close to the edge as you want. You're going to have to put the jelly plate to the very edge of your stamping block. And that's where you maybe want to use a more flexible stencil like this one. And you might also want to hold up the page underneath. And you may need to tilt it a little bit as well too. And even as it is, it's going to be hard to always get a great image along those edges. So even with the untreated canvas, it does work a little bit more similarly to the paper. It will absorb more of the paint, but it's making sure that you add enough paint and you get enough on the surface that you're going to be able to see the image. So it's a little bit harder on canvas than I would say on paper, but it's definitely doable. So because I do have my full-size jelly plate out, I'm going to try this with a little bit of paint and trying to put it on the surface as a full print. And this is going to be a little bit challenge. I haven't tried this before. We'll see how this goes. And I'm going to try something a little bit different. I have this wood texture tool, and I'm going to try to add this wood texture onto my page. And so this is going to take a little bit of doing. So in this case, I'm going to run it up against the edge. I'm going to go like so, and turn it upside down. This is not the typical way of jelly printing. If this is your first jelly printing video, this is not how you generally do it. But I wanted to try to see if I could get it in my book. And I think this is the best way you can probably do it and still get a good image. And it worked partially. That one edge there, a part of it is it didn't have a lot of paint there, so a lot of paint didn't transfer. And because, again, it's a little bit lighter and it doesn't take quite as much paint, It didn't work out perfectly, but you still get the idea. You actually got most of a print in there, and that's about as good as you could really expect working in a journal and flipping the plate. The whole point with these plates is to have them on an even surface so that you can press down, add pressure, and get really great results. So this is a little less conventional, but in the end, it gives you what you maybe want out of your page. I basically use the mixed media paper to pull it up, but what you'll notice is you notice all this texture here. That is from the canvas. So something else to think about. There's lots of neat ways you can get these secondary prints that will work really, really well in your journal. So let's try this on an actual canvas. And the challenge I see with this one is that it does have some bounce to it. So the question is going to be, how good of a print can we get using shapes? And in this case, I'm just going to use a bunch of my mini plates. And if you haven't seen my mini plate video, I go into a lot of detail about different ways you can use these plates. And if you haven't checked out any of my jelly printing videos, I do have some of them that I go into a lot of depth. How to do second layers. I try to go over a lot of things to get you started so that you feel confident in what you're trying to do with your jelly plate. Because I know when I started, I had a jelly plate for years, never used it, because I found a lot of videos confusing and not helpful when it came down to actually getting good prints. These ones, I'm just going to keep it simple. And you'll notice that you might not be able to see it on camera, but there is a little bit of bounce. So what that did is it got the edge, but did not get the center because of the give in the canvas. So I'm going to try that again, but this time I'm putting my hand in behind. Now I get that image. But this is the problem with you doing this on a canvas, is you're going to get some spots like that in the center. I'm going to try a little triangle. It has a slightly different surface tension, and because of the shape, let's see if we can get a slightly better result. You can see it's the same issue, basically because of the bounce on the canvas, because if I put it on the canvas on the side, you can see it does have flex to it. You can remove some of that flex by tightening the canvas a little bit, but it's only going to help you get so far. Usually when I do my canvas work, I do it on paper and then I just collage it onto my surface before adding paint. All you're looking for is a little bit of texture to add to your surface before adding paint. This isn't a bad way of doing it. Even if you're not getting good images, you're covering your surface. And that's what I'll often do with a lot of my projects, is the intention isn't to start with the first layer as being a really serious layer of paint. It's about trying to break up the background. And if you haven't seen my break up the background video from a few weeks ago, that one also might be really helpful for you. If you are interested in adding jelly printing to your canvases, I would suggest doing something like this. This is a page I did in my art journal where I basically created squares and then added my rabbit painting over top. And I've done the same thing on canvases, both on regular canvases and on birch boards. I find it much easier just to stick with using regular paper and then collaging onto the surface that I want over doing it the other way around. I really wanted to show you this video so you can understand some of the properties of canvas and why it's different, and the pros and cons on how you can use this in a project. So I hope this is giving you some new ideas on how to use canvas with your gel plate. And please leave a comment below if you have any questions about this technique, or you would like to leave a comment. This video was actually created from a comment that I received from one of my subscribers. And just thank you so much for your comments, because when you ask me questions like, well, have you ever tried canvas? I go, no, I haven't. Let's give this a try. And so it's a good chance for me to test out some things and be able to share that with you so you don't have to go through so much trial and error in your own projects. And so if you've enjoyed this video, if you could like it, subscribe, and hit that notification button so you don't miss out on any future videos. And if you're looking for the supply list and the colors I've used, it is also below in the description. That does include affiliate links, but that's a way you can support this channel at no additional cost for yourself. And so if you're looking for another video about how to use different surfaces for the gel plate, check out this video. In this video, I talked about how to use the gel plate with tissue paper and some of the things that I've learned to make sure you get really great results. So I hope you have a really great week, that you take some time for some personal self-care, and I will see you next time.